Hey guys, you remember us? We're that friendly neighborhood conspiracy theory podcast known as Weapons of Meme Destruction, kind of liberalism, libertarian-esque. You remember? We're like the 124th, 5th Australian political podcast.
I mean, I hope we haven't dropped in the rankings since we've been kind of on hiatus for a few weeks.
Yeah, well, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, but apparently not in our YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine that? We stop delivering content and our following does not explode by a factor of 10.
I know.
Like, what kind of world, what kind of topsy-turvy world is this?
Why don't they come and find us in our little shanty town of a fucking studio? Okay,
Yes.
Why do we have to come to you every goddamn week? Why don't you make an effort?
We have to make an effort to keep producing content just to
this is
get
a very-
people to follow us?
Very, this is becoming a very toxic relationship between us.
Yeah, it's very one-sided.
We were gone for 2 weeks. You didn't call us. We didn't get a fuck you or nothing. I feel like the Tiger King here. I called for help twice. I didn't get a fuck you or nothing. Carol Baskins. Anyway, Dane, why did we go AWOL for 2 weeks, please?
So I want to start by giving a special apology to the video consumers, whether that be YouTube, Rumble, or whatever, because I know that you haven't gotten anything from us all the way back since 171, which was like pre-Thanksgiving. We did record one in between now and then, 172. We recorded it when we came back from Thanksgiving, but that one hasn't got up because I moved and thinking that I could take my phone back.
Why don't you give them your address too?
Yeah, where my video is, typically what we did is I would take my phone home, upload it on my computer, would go in a Dropbox, and then our video guy would be able to chop them up and do what he does. Well, my internet sucks, and it never uploaded, so that's why you haven't seen 172, but that's coming at your face. If you've missed it in between now and then...
Phrasing boom?
If you've missed it, though, you can always catch up by just going to the audio-only podcast.
Or by joining that email list.
172 has been up there for a couple weeks. Now, last week, work-related / family-related / I just don't have a life duties prevented my traveling up here to the studio at an undisclosed location and recording that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to record some extra, it's not even extra content, it's catch-up content in a pretty rapid succession. And we're going to make sure that as we go through the holidays and into the new year, you don't miss a beat or a week because we've already made you miss too much and we're sorry about that. It's like 93.67 repeating, of course. Percent my fault, but yeah, the other part about it being David's fault is that he won't move the studio a little closer to where I currently live, so shame on him.
Let me just pick this thing up and trot on down there.
Would you like to?
I'm not apologizing for shit. Because if you're explaining, you're losing, right, Dane? Isn't that the old? Yeah, where's your flag, Dane?
Yeah,
where's your free flag?
Explaining, you're losing. Yeah, it works less for some people than others.
Well, I'll just say that I missed you too, even though, we had to call you first. I'm miffed. I didn't see any comments like, where's 171? Where's 172? Like,
that true, and I'm also going to use this time to publicly harangue, because he deserves it, Nameless Faceless Guy. Because we have told you, Mimi's, many times, that if you sign up for the automated text service list, when we have situations that arise, which prevent us from uploading, we get canceled, all of those kind of things, that, you'll get a text. And so that way you can at least know that we haven't been Clintoned and that we're coming back with more content for you at some time in the future. But I think, because I am on that list, I'm getting high on my own supply. I only think throughout the past 3 or 4 weeks, I saw one text go out on that list and not really explaining what happened to us.
Maybe his fingers are broken.
So
let's not jump to conclusions, Matt. Maybe all of his fingers are broken.
Type with your toes, bros.
Or your nose.
You got family members. Can you not dictate? They can do the typing for you.
Yeah, how my dictate.
Yeah. So anyway, blame him. Grab your torch and pitchforks. We'll meet
torch and pitchforks.
We'll meet you at his house.
Oh, that's how we all say it, wouldn't it? He'll probably be crying himself to sleep tonight in his huge pillow. I sent you that. I laughed at that for 2 minutes. 10 minutes.
He's
crickets over
definitely
here.
underselling.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Communication is not our foremost. But what we are here to do is spread some sanity. Sanity? Dane?
Right.
Dane sanity.
We're not dead. The content's going to keep coming. And as we roll into 2024 and our product improves, we're going to try to be more consistent with it coming at your face.
Apologies and toxic relationships aside.
Praise and boom again.
You ready to get to what we're talking to about?
And your ear holes.
Talking to about today?
Yeah.
To talk at
David's
their face
ready
holes?
to tell you some things that we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk at their face holes about this.
Some things.
Okay, so meme destruction. We got a meme destruction today. It is don't call it a comeback. The champ is here. What am I talking about, Dane? What am I talking about?
Do we want to tell them or you want to just do
I'm still going.
He's
been here for years.
Are you
rocking
doing
his peers. Putting suckers
Are you
in fear.
doing
I'm
your,
doing a mashup.
Are you doing
Champ's there.
Are you doing your what the heck is his name? Irish guy got in trouble by the government because he said fuck you guys for letting kids get stabbed in Ireland. UFC fighter.
Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
Oh, my
The
fuck.
Conor walk.
Oh, Conor McGregor don't give a shit about nothing. Your first step has to go down to the label. You're jobbing. You're switched on. You're jobbing. Stay in there. You're in the fight. Stay in your fucking fate. Anyway, sorry.
That was quite the Conor compilation.
I wasn't
David
doing
had
any
over there.
Conor, but you said it, so
Yeah.
I got excited.
So
and I got a
anyway.
lot of C4 in me right now. So the drink, not the explosive.
As far as we know.
I think
David's not a Ukrainian official.
the FBI agent that
Walking
listens
in here
to
with
both of our
explosives.
phones is like, oh, that's what he thinks.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
No, you didn't.
Meme destruction.
Was
It is
don't call it a comeback.
the man,
The myth.
the
I feel
legend.
like the Stone Cold 316 should like
Like
the
the
glass.
crash.
And he comes like walking in. God damn it, listen to me. Explain Tower 7.
Yes, if you didn't get that reference, Alex Jones is
Return
back
to fucking
on.
Frogs Day. Anyway, sorry.
Alex Jones is back on X, formerly known as Twitter, and we think that brings up a good opportune time to talk to our friends on the left about conspiracy theories.
Excellent. And we're doing a main culture corner hybrid, a culture
Mashup.
corner hybrid main, smushing them together. Vivek dropping truth bombs while winning hearts and minds. That's a hard thing to do, to drop bombs and win hearts.
It's challenging, and win, lose, or draw for him. I have no illusions about his chances of success, considering the power players that are aligned against him. Just glad he's out there. Just glad that he's given a bigger microphone to some of these ideas because, it's long overdue that these things were heard by the masses. So
I mean, even
good on him, but we'll talk more about it in the episode.
The great deity Ye, artist formerly known as Yeezy, could only accomplish 808s and heartbreaks.
Yeah.
So this guy's going for the gusto. But anyway, before we get too off track, you ready to drop in?
Let's do it. Welcome to Weapons and Meme Destruction Podcast, episode 173, which can be found at wmdpodcast.com/173. You can get the audio only on any podcast catcher. Just search Weapons of Meme Destruction. You can get the video on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey. David, we're talking AJ, the man, the turning the frogs gay, the
Hillary's a lizard!
the Alex Jones was right swear jar is overflowing at this point. And he's back. He is back on X. He's been reinstated. I think it was because, I think majority of the reason was because Tucker interviewed him on Tucker's show, which is exclusively on the platform X. And so many people were making the valid point because previously Elon was like, no, Alex can't be here. But people were making the point was, so wait, he can't be on the platform, but he can be interviewed by people on the platform. what gives, and I think a little bit of that social pressure. Oh, and then Elon put out a poll that said, should Alex Jones be reinstated? With the Latin Vox Populi Vox Day, and the people voted yes overwhelmingly. So Alex Jones back on Twitter. Yes. Initial thoughts before we talk to our friends on the left.
Well, I'm just excited for what he's going to bring. The God damn it, Andy Bravo, you're pissing me off real bad. I pee just a little bit. I can't wait for the sound clips that are going to come out of him, because where he's going. He's going straight onto the JRE, and they're going to start talking about they're making pig hybrids and they're using the organs of aborted babies. I just saw it here, Bravo. I can't wait. I'm like, what new treasures can he have? Yeah. Again, you just have to take it with a grain of salt if you want to. Just take him for his overstated, blow-hearted best. He's gonna miss sometimes. Shooter's gonna shoot. And again, the Sandy Hook thing was what kicked him off in the first place.
Right.
Which he missed by a long shot. However, if you can kind of get wrapped up in that whole, again, bringing it back to the conspiracy theory, once you've seen enough conspiracy theories, that's kind of again, side note, that's kind of what the thin red line that we're walking to is when you see enough conspiracy theories become fact, all of a sudden, most conspiracy or any conspiracy theory can look like fact, like a hammer. To a hammer, what does the whole world look like, Dane?
A nail.
Exactly. So right. Once you see it in one thing, you see it in all things. So obviously he got off the chain a little bit. So hopefully he doesn't do that again. But otherwise.
Well, and here's the thing, right? So the people that are super anti Alex Jones, they always focus on, and again, it's understandable why they do it. It comes as no surprise to any of us, but they'll focus on the Sandy Hook, or they'll focus on, the international ring of elite people that eat, small children and all of that kind of stuff. They will focus on those things, rather low hanging fruit.
Was that Grove?
And if you want to, oh,
God damn it.
Whatever. Don't throw me off.
Sorry.
I'll think of it now that you've said that.
Bohemian Grove.
But what they don't reference at all are the literal university study. I think it was the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA study about atrazine in water and literally turning male frogs into female frogs. Not making male frogs attracted to other male frogs, but literally taking their male parts and turning them female. That's an actual, like I said, university study, respecting not the University of Podunk Nowhere, Arkansas, but the university. Again, I think it was It was one of those California universities. I think it was UCLA. And so, when he brought that up and thought, maybe we should consider not having atrazine in water. He didn't say it that level-headedly, of course, because he's Alex Jones, but credit where it's due for pointing that out. And it turned out to be more truth than fiction. Or, his classic explain Tower 7 explosion, no pun intended. That's a very valid question that the mainstream explainers of 9/11 want to look the other way on. And there's a lot of other things about 9/11 that reasonable questions should be definitely allowed to be asked, if not answered. Again, whether that's been proven or not, that's a completely valid question to, again, tone down the Alex rhetoric and to just say, please explain Tower 7. They never want to focus on those things.
Don't listen to that part. Be exciting, Alex. Just go back to screaming and doing all that shit.
I'm not telling him to change.
Worth it, right?
But I'm telling, if his detractors would, kind of set to one side the entertainment value of Alex Jones and focus on the words that are said, you got to take the good with the bad. There are some things that he's, by virtue of being on the fringe, he's willing to be out there and ask questions that no one else is willing to ask. And in that endeavor, some truth can be uncovered that the mainstream, establishment opinion molders don't want you to ask those questions at all, let alone get answers to them. And so, I just wanted to start there before we get into the destroying the meme of the left. Is it's okay to take somebody for what they are, take the good and the bad and analyze them on a case-by-case basis of the things they say and do. Just because they were wrong about this thing or they were pretty far out there on this thing doesn't mean that their entire catalog gets thrown out the window. Because you can learn just as much from what they were right about as what their mistakes were or what they got wrong. This is the concept of open, unencumbered debate, which is what Elon is purportedly trying to create with X, is that, yeah, you're going to have a lot of nonsense. You're going to have a lot of out there stuff. But within that milieu, you will also find a lot of truth that the establishment, that the ones that don't want you to ask certain questions, and we'll get to that more in the main/culture corner segment as well of this episode, they don't want you to ask those uncomfortable questions because generally it makes them look bad. So whether you love the guy, whether you hate the guy, if you are being a reasonable person, you can look at the totality of what he has said and done over the course of his career, and you can be the discerning consumer that says, yeah, I think he's kind of off base on this one, and I don't really care what he has to say. That's an interesting point. I never heard that before. Let me dig a little deeper. And, you might find that there is some useful things that he brings to the table. And that doesn't make you a dismissible conspiracy theorist, a terrible person, a harasser of Sandy Hook parents and all of that kind of stuff. It just makes you a sane individual who's willing to examine things on their merits and come to your own conclusions regardless what other people say about it.
And then don't forget, too, that this point was brought up multiple times during his removal from the platform, that, I believe ISIS still had a page on X and YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff. There's terrorist organizations that are causing actual damage. What about, I won't say any names, but pharmaceutical companies that have hurt people in the past that can still be on those platforms? I don't believe Alex has ever harmed anybody, physically at least, right, with any of the words that he said. So bear that all in mind when you start getting wrapped up, well, he's a hate speech and he's this. It's like, okay, if what he says really does bother you that much, you can just turn him off. Choose not to listen to him. It doesn't mean you have to throw him completely out with the bathwater. And I hand it back over to you to discuss conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So why this is in the meme destroying section is because Alex Jones coming back to Twitter and the leftist hair pulling out, pants on fire reaction that has caused, we thought provided a teachable moment to explain to that group of people, to the extent that they're still listening to this podcast past just hearing his name and going, oh my God, these guys don't automatically hate him as much as I do. Click, turn it off.
Wait till you see who we talk about next.
Yeah. It's a good teachable moment to talk to them about the concept of conspiracy theories and whether their sort of on high, holier than thou view of themselves vis-a-vis who they call conspiracy theorists, whether that's actually tenable. Are they really that much better than those that they would classify as conspiracy theorists? We are going to explain to you why we think maybe not. But, you can come to your own conclusions after we have to say what we have to say. But Alex Jones coming back to Twitter and X is a good time to talk to our friends on the left, say that you're not all that different. And in many respects, you're probably worse than the people that you call conspiracy theorists and try to dismiss out.
That's the wonderful thing about them, is that they think that they're so, again, I'll just bring this in. They think that they're so different from the other side. But they don't realize they're the exact same thing. I've heard this opinion a couple of times. It's saying, like, if it weren't for Trump, this country wouldn't be so divided. It's like, okay, so when you freak out that the word Trump is said, look, the other side goes, yay! But then you both go over him. Like, can't you, you are 50% of the reason why the conflict happens. You are aiding and abetting the conflict because you're engaging it. If you were as mature as you said that you were, you wouldn't pay him any attention. Or if the places you listen to, or the places you get your information from would stop covering Trump, maybe he would go the fuck away. But neither of those two things are happening, so you're just as complicit as the people on January 6th as you are now. As the people on January 6th probably hold you accountable for the riots of the mostly peaceful protests a couple of months before that. So again, it takes two to tango, so before you say that they're guilty, admit your own guilt first.
Fair point. And if, to the extent that any of us could do that in any context, examine thine own ass first, we might be able to come to some sort of reasonable, space of discussion with the quote unquote other side. But to walk through this self-examination scenario and put the anti-conspiracy theorist group up against the conspiracy theorist, and just to see if they're really that much better, let's substitute out some names and just posit to you two groups of people and tell me if you think they're all that different. So we have one group of people who say that billionaires, right? This nondescript group of people, we don't examine how billionaire A and billionaire B got their monies in two completely different ways. One from, stealing it from people or using the government to coerce and drive out competitors. And one who just provided a really valuable good or service that billions of people around the world decided to use. No distinction between them, but these billionaires talk amongst themselves and come up with a plan to make sure that they keep all their billions. They take as much from everybody else and make sure that everybody else never gets as much as they had. They, shall we say, conspired. That's one group of people. Another group of people, their enemy, their bad guy isn't billionaires. It's people in high positions of power. Now, whether that be elected politicians or other bureaucrats within the governmental apparatus, or whether it be people like Klaus Schwab, who sit on, international bodies that seem to be borderless, but are somehow dictating policies to all kinds of different governments around the world. But, just people generally that wield a lot of power, not just any power, the state's power. The only institution in society that has a monopoly on the legal use of violence to get their way. Now, this group of people thinks that those bad guys, a couple of them, a few of them, get together and make an agreement to make sure that they keep their power, expand their power, and make sure they keep all the little people down so they don't ever challenge them. Now, whether you're in Group A, who thinks that the billionaires are the bad guys that are coming to an agreement, conspiring to harm other people, or whether you're in Group B, who thinks that people in government, whether they're actually in it or just use it for their own devices, are coming to agreements, conspiring to harm people. In either case, in Group A and B, you are thinking that a conspiracy is going on amongst a group of people that you have labeled as bad, and that somehow affects your life, or that something must be done about it, et cetera, et cetera.
The point remains, you're still getting fucked either way.
Right. So when you break it down to its very base level, anybody who isn't, dogmatically adherent to their side and everybody else is evil can see that there is no difference between these groups, really. At least not in the macro sense that they think that these shadowy figures are conspiring to harm them.
Oh my God, they're codependent.
I'm going to give you a very solid distinction between them here in a second, but just on the surface level, there's not really any difference between those two people. The only difference is who they've decided to label as their bad guy who is conspiring to do things that harm them. So just on that level alone, lefties, you've probably figured out you're in Group A. Are you really that much different than those people you've labeled as conspiracy theorists who you just dismiss out of hand, and they're crazy wacko kooks who have nothing of value to say about the world at all, and that your fear of nameless, faceless billionaires is completely valid and justified, but their fear of politicians and bureaucrats and powerful people that control them is unjustified? Not much difference. Not a whole lot of daylight between the two of you.
Well, the reason is that don't those billionaires, after they're done, what did you say, colluding or conspiring?
Yeah.
After they're done conspiring in that room, don't they walk into this other room and start talking to this guy that they pay a lot of money to sit in a seat and kind of vote in the right direction that they want to? Doesn't the guy in the other room walk back out and then start saying, you know what? Here's policy A that's going to definitely tax the rich, and it's going to alleviate you guys because we're trying to build back this middle class better. Then everyone's, oh, thank God, thank God. Then he walks back into his room, writes the legislation, and builds in plenty of loopholes for Mr. Conspirator Billionaire. And so all of a sudden, the new legislation comes out, and there's 87,000 more FBI or IRS agents, and that's to catch those billionaires to get away. But how many stories have come out of any of those 87,000 new agents of the IRS? How many billionaires have they busted?
I don't know, but just anecdotally speaking, I've seen at least 2 people that I know personally in my life that since that legislation passed have been targeted by the IRS. So, and these are middle to lower middle class, they're not making 6 figures a year. So it doesn't seem to me like they're only going after the Bill Gateses of the world.
So are you saying that, going back to where I interjected before, it doesn't matter if it's the politician that's the corrupt one, or the billionaire that's the corrupt one, or maybe they both are one and the same. They're both corrupt and they're both working synergistically to make sure that they both make the certain amounts of money that they were wanting to make, and that who pays the price in the end? Oh, I don't know. 2008, who paid the price then?
Us.
Right now, who's paying the price for policies written by them?
Us.
Who always seems... Oh, by the way, who's footing the bill for all these wars in all these different countries?
I want to say us, but yeah, us.
Who's always stuck with the bill, it seems like?
Us.
So yeah, there you go. That's all we're trying to say is wake up! Anyway, in the words of Dr. Disrespect, open your eyes, stop being a fool, and that's why, well, they're all corrupt. So just vote for my guy. Like, that's not working anymore, and that's kind of a big old steaming bowl of foreshadowing for the main Culture Corner episode, too.
Yeah. Now, we've kind of laid out pretty succinctly, I think, how there's not really much daylight between these two groups of people. But here is one critical difference between the two of them. Group A, that's just worried about billionaires talking to each other about how they can make more money to them, for themselves or keep it from others. And Group B, who's worried about people that are pulling the reins of power in government, which, as I said, is the only institution in society that can legally get away with using violence to get its way. Which of those two groups, the billionaires or the ones using government, seem to be, and again, like David said, they can be one and the same, but which of those two groups, if we were to silo them in separate groups, seems more dangerous to you? The one that can take more money from you, but doesn't really get control over your day-to-day life, or the one that can literally control every single aspect of your life if it wanted to, if it could get away with it, and enough people wouldn't raise up and revolt? To ask that question is almost to answer it. But yet, this group in Group A that's only worried about the billionaires and never what anybody in the state is doing, or the fact that these billionaires might collude with the state, that group of individuals always seems to turn into what I'd like to call coincidence theorists. And I would like to put forth that coincidence theorists are even worse than conspiracy theorists, because if a conspiracy theorist is wrong about his or her conspiracy, well, then he was wrong about it. But a coincidence theorist will look at something clearly and obviously that happened in front of their eyeballs, and rather than digging a nanometer below the surface or asking a single follow-up question about why that thing happened, who we can all look at and agree is not a good thing that happened, they just explain it away. Oh, it's just a coincidence. There was no backroom smoke-filled discussion that created this coincidence. There was no really powerful people that had a vested interest in this thing happen. They weren't involved in the decision-making process to make sure it happened at all. They definitely didn't have the power to do it, to pull it off. If they did, they did. It's just a coincidence. And if you say it's anything other than a coincidence, then you're a conspiracy theorist.
And if you say it too long, we'll remove you from our platform.
Exactly. I posit to you, dear listener and viewer, that the coincidence theorist is far more dangerous than the conspiracy theorist, because they will endlessly, in this false sense of they're the most rational person in the room because they refuse to ask any questions and they just take whatever the mainstream narrative is on whatever topic
Trust
it is.
the science.
Drink it like Kool-Aid. They are, as the old phrase goes, they keep their minds so open that their brain falls out. And those people will endlessly rationalize away coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, their own mental and sometimes literal and physical slavery, just because they don't want to be seen as the crazy one who asks the wrong question. Again, you don't have to go 100% with an Alex Jones of the world, just using him as an example. You don't have to go and agree with everything they say.
You shouldn't.
Just to make sure that you are respectable and people, don't think that you've gone off the deep end. But if you're going to the opposite end of that spectrum and you steadfastly refuse to ever ask the questions and just say everything is a coincidence, you will literally rationalize your own slavery.
They probably still believe in Santa Claus too.
And you'll be happy all the way down.
I'm a little jealous of them though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Be that blissfully ignorant of everything around you.
That is true. That is true.
There is something about that that's just like so appealing.
But, I would say that's even a different, like the people who, basically want to ostrich their whole lives and just keep their head in the sand. Because in a practical sense, and I don't disagree with them, they say, even if I knew everything, what could one individual do? And that's true. Like you are overpowered. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything, because there is strength in numbers and you can convince people to your side. But this group is even worse because they don't even claim that they're ostracizing. They claim that they're so informed about everything because they memorized Rachel Maddow's opening monologue.
And this particular meme destruction could go on forever.
Yeah.
But in the importance of saving money on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because somebody and some people aren't donating enough to keep it fucking running. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
I know.
We love you guys.
I've pontificated enough.
What do the Hodge twins always say? A bunch of freeloaders over here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess agree to disagree, but just, do yourself a favor. If you only intake one, start small. I know it's crazy if you watch CNN or you watch Fox News or whatever you watch. Just for your own sake, just see how long you can watch the other side and just try to what I personally do is I just question everything. And then when it starts making more sense, then you apply logic and reason. And then if it does make sense at the end of it, then I'll adhere to it until I'm proven wrong. It's a fair point. Just apply a general amount of distrust, especially from authority. Who was that? Think for yourself, question authority. Think for yourself, question authority. It was a snippet from from Tools. Oh, God damn it. Prying open my third eye. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a healthy thing to question authority, is what I'm saying. And I know it's been beaten out of you through the scholastic
public
system.
Education system.
Right, exactly.
Public indoctrination system, yeah.
He doesn't have any strong opinions about that. Anywho, all I'm saying is it's okay. It's okay to question things. And especially right now, when mental health is such a dire consequence of the past couple of years, it's okay to question things. It's actually really healthy. You should do it sometime. Indeed. And you won't go blind if you do it too often, by the way.
Yeah. Or get hairy palms.
Exactly. And you don't have to hide it from your mom either. Anyway, with all that being said,
So we are on to the
or
culture
maybe you do
corner.
have to hide it from your mom.
the culture corner / meme. Well, that is exactly what Vivek is doing to the mainstream media. He's maining the shit out of it. But Culture Corner / main segment. And the reason why it has a tinge of Culture Corner to it is because, and we've said this on the podcast before about Vivek, is, he has some positions that we disagree with. I know I certainly do. Maybe David, does, or, maybe he's fully on board the Vivek train. If you fully agree
with anyone in this world, you're fucking weird.
I don't even fully agree with myself half the time.
Right. I'm scared of myself. Like, what is that doing in there? Get the.
But like I said, as we've said on the podcast before, is just the fact that he is in the race for as long as he has been, and is giving the platform, making the megaphone bigger, however you want to euphemistically refer to it, to some of these ideas that we haven't seen or heard in our political discourse, and definitely in my entire lifetime. And I can't remember the last time it would have been, is an extremely important thing for the culture, right? Because up until recently, the, I guess, cultural thing to do, right, is, trust the people in power. Democracy works. Sometimes the lesser of two evils is better. But, listen, when the government screws it up, they're just humble public servants doing their best, and everybody makes mistakes, and we'll come back from it. That's been the cultural view up until very recently. Well, Vivek is, with many of his positions, pulling the scales back from people's eyes and showing them that, and at least giving voice to ideas that demonstrate to people that exactly what David just said. Question everything, especially, I would say, if you had like a graph, like a sliding scale of how much you should question, it would be a straight linear graph of
power
to more. Yeah, the more power that somebody has that's telling you something, right, that is the more skeptical you should be, if for no other reason
than your own safety.
Than the fact that if those people with all that power enact their ideas and they happen to be actually harmful, can actually have an impact on your life.
Just ask our grandpa.
The crazy, guy screeching on the street corner in New York City who's talking about the sky is going to fall. Other than, maybe disrupting.
Give a quick look up.
maybe disrupting your quiet walk home. That guy can't really do anything to your life. Somebody in a nice suit and tie sitting in a fancy office with a special title that can write executive orders, that guy can royally fuck up your life in numerous ways. So, be skeptical to the extent that the power is greater, is the takeaway from there. So, Vivek was recently on a CNN town hall, which, again, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I can't believe CNN even had him come on, let alone they asked him some of the questions they did, because at this point, it's nothing but embarrassing for them. Because by asking him on...
It's the same concept as sending Sanjay Gupta to JRE, thinking that they were going to straighten him out.
Right.
Like... All right.
It's a lose-lose, because if you let Vivek talk, he will destroy many of your talking points that people remember. And if you, as this clip will show, and basically this is a 5-minute answer that he's given. And the reason why it has to be so long is, as you'll see, the host continuously interrupts him, which really, if you just peel away the things he had to say and the things she had to say, and you just look at the frequency, the intensity of the interruptions, as they say, and now this is a video, not a picture, but as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You really don't even have to hear what either one of them to say to see how vociferously she interrupts and challenges him when he's just answering a question that she asked. That tells you all you need to know about her personally and about her outlet, CNN, and or the people behind it that control her and her talking points. So what David and I are going to do is, because we think it's important that you not only see that, Nameless Faceless Guy is going to put it up here on the video. So if you're an audio only listener, consider going over to YouTube, but more importantly, Rumble. We're trying to get our numbers up over there. And watch this section of the podcast, because we want you to see this. It's important that you see this. You're going to hear it, but we also want you to see it. And so we're going to go mostly with Vivek just trying to get his answer out through the interruptions. And David and I will just pause here and there when we have things to say about it. But David, before we hit play on the clip, anything that you want to tell the people, just generally what we're getting ready to talk about in this segment.
Well, I think that both parties kind of went into it with the same, I don't know, like you said, the good faith. That they both went into it with good faith, and then you see how quickly good faith melts away when things don't fall into certain
from
parties.
one side.
Correct. Certain parties' favor. So then all of a sudden the gloves are off and then we aren't sticking by the rules anymore. So all I'll mention before you kick this off is usually a moderator or an interviewer or whatever you want to call this person, whatever her name was. Abby, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Abby something. Usually when they ask a question, it's a probing question and you want to give as much time to the person, especially if it's a solo, if you're interviewing the person, you want to give them as much time to get as much of their idea as firmly placed in people's heads as possible, usually.
Right.
And with that being said, play the clip.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just a little bit of background. So you're going to get this as it unfolds, but basically she's asking him about January 6th and his rhetoric on January 6th.
By the way, is this going to get us popped on?
Yeah, we're going to, everything we've set up to this point, we're probably good, but we'll probably just have nameless, faceless guy. So yeah, what I just said about seeing the video, you're not going to be able to see it on YouTube.
I was just thinking about that, like, uh-oh.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think so, because I think
we got one more. We got one more, my friend.
We better not risk it. We're not outside of our 90-day window.
We're walking the thinnest of red lines.
Okay, so sorry. You'll be able to see it, but
sorry to be a bummer.
we're gonna mute the audio so on YouTube. So if you want to see this video in its totality, search Weapons of Meme Destruction on Rumble, search Weapons of Meme Destruction on Odyssey. Those two platforms allow us to speak like adults and say what we want to say. That's where you'll be able to see and hear what we're getting ready to play for you. Obviously, audio only listeners, you're going to be able to hear it, obviously not see it, but you will be uninterrupted because thank God up to this point, podcast platforms are generally unencumbered. But yes, if you are a YouTube only consumer of our content, go to one of those other platforms if you want to hear this. And we strongly suggest, we're libertarians, we're not forcing anything on you. But we think this is very important if you haven't seen it already and heard it, that you do, because again, picture, or in this case, video is worth 1,000 words. So the question first, and then we'll get into Vivek's answer before we hit some pauses. So did you hear the laughter at the end, when she accused him of not getting after the truth and that's what she was doing? You heard open, mocking, derisive laughter from CNN audience at a CNN host. Shortly after, by the way, they just applauded him for saying the simple, should be unobjectionable point from people on every single, section of the political spectrum, which is the government should not be allowed to put you into a situation where you commit a crime, at least according to the letter of the law, and charge you with it. That's it. And you heard it. I don't know if you could hear it over her again interrupting.
That she didn't want to do.
He said left, right, it doesn't matter. The government should not be able to do that. And again,
pretty fucking simple.
Pretty standard stuff, which is why it got a round of applause from a CNN audience. So, that's Vivek. I hope that, with our, I guess it is kind of ironic that we interrupted, mocking or talking about her interrupting, but ours were for good purposes. It's good. It's okay when we do it.
Well, we had points, and we let her have her day. Like, if she had something important to say, which clearly she didn't, she could have got it out.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, truth to power. If you're going to do it, and then the other thing I was going to say, because you brought up something earlier that reminded me of, I think you were talking about whole, CNN, used to be more media, just more broadly speaking, used to be after truth, and that's what they're important, but they're backed into a corner and all that kind of stuff. As I don't know if this was a paraphrase or a quote from somewhere else, but the first person I ever heard it from, and I believe it was the original quote from Ron Paul during one of his campaigns, said that in the empire of lies, truth is treason. And so when they actually have the stones, again, credit where it's due, to bring a Vivek on their platform, and not only just like a short little 2-minute clip on Rachel Maddow's show. I know she's not on CNN, but I use her as a proxy for all these people. But in a long form, style, not even a debate, but where he can give long form answers, for them to invite him to that platform is, credit to them for that. But when he even gropes towards, in the dark, whatever the truth might be, look at their reaction. It's like a crucifix in front of Dracula. They just are absolutely repulsed by it. And that, my friends, tells you everything you need to know, not only about them, but the people behind them that paid money for advertisements on their platforms.
Who's that again, mostly?
And for the politicians that,
pharmaceutical companies, right?
Give them the narratives that they have to put out there.
Shit. Well, we didn't have time to cover it today. We went back and forth a little bit about it, but there was another thing that happened that week as well.
A couple weeks ago
was there was a dais, and there was a debate, the Republican debate.
Fourth Republican debate, I believe.
And I heard people from both sides saying that Chris Christie really sat down Vivek because he called him a loudmouth blowhard, and he doesn't even have any business on that stage. And people from the left said that was a good job, and people from the right said that was a good job. So that opinion came from legacy media, because they both agreed on that, because they both don't like him, right? So, again, I just wanted to quickly remark upon the hypocrisy of it. Chris Christie saying that any other candidate doesn't have any business on that stage when he is the most, well, aside from being the largest person on the stage, the person that has the least amount of business being there, because we all know he's not going to fucking win. So the fact that the peanut gallery was calling Vivek something that the peanut gallery was, it's just laughable to me. And it lets me know where they're at. And with that point, my only point about this whole debacle with legacy media and all that stuff is all the people that have that opinion that Vivek is crazy and that he's out unhinged and that he's, out there conspiracy theorist, much like, similar to how they view Alex Jones. My point is, get used to it, because you made it. The way you've been voting, the way your politicians have been behaving themselves for the entirety of our adult lives, and most of yours too, and your compliance with how often I hear, well, they're all corrupt, so you just got to vote for the least corrupt ones. No. Vivek's done with it. He's one of the first of our generation of politicians, if you want to call it, that are starting to come up through the ranks now. So if you don't like the way Vivek is talking, you got some what's it called? What's called reconciliation, not penance. You got some penance coming your way, because this is the first of many. Because I don't know about you, I'm pretty sure you feel the same way about me, seeing as we're both on the same podcast. But we share the same sentiments as Vivek. We're not okay with our politicians being corrupt. We're not okay with the same old, same old. You want to know why we're not okay with the same old, same old? Because we can't afford houses. We can't afford general life. The what's happened to our currency since 1960? Our money, we have less money in the bank today than we did yesterday. And guess what? By the time the sun rises tomorrow, we'll have less money than we did today, thanks to the inflation put forth by the policies that your corrupt politicians are doing. So again, Vivek is the voice of the new generation that's taking over, that's sick of the old guard. Because the same old guard has got us into many wars that we can't get out of, has bankrupted this country. We lost our AAA credit score, lest we forget, not too long ago, because of all the financial policies of the last decade or so. We've been called idiots. We've been called aggressive. All of our plights have been said, oh, well, work harder. And then the creme de la creme this week that I couldn't stand was, my generation has to come to terms with the fact that we're going to have to lower our expectations for standards of living. Go fuck yourself, in the words of Elon Musk. So you can say from your multi-million-dollar homes that my generation won't get that, and we just have to deal with it because your generation used our fiscal future to pay for that shit. I believe the American dream was a white house with a picket fence, family dog in the yard.
Yeah, at one time it was.
So what's my, so they did such a bang up job, by the way. These people that know it all, that are telling us Vivek is crazy, they did such a bang up job that my new American dream is a trailer park house with maybe a rat infestation and some ramen noodles. Is that what I'm supposed to lower my standards to? You tell me what I'm supposed to be comfortable with then. I'm sorry, I got a little heated during that, but guess what? So did Vivek. And more of us are coming. Gross.
That's hilarious that David called that his version of heated.
Sorry. I wasn't screaming.
No, he wasn't.
I was controlled. I said a little heated, by the way.
No, you're exactly right. And that's the more astute people on that side of the fence. And by that side of the fence, I mean the power players, the ones that have it, the ones that feel they're entitled to it, the ones that feel that if any of us get it, that their way of life is threatened. They are afraid of exactly what David just said. Not that Vivek as an individual thinks what he thinks and says what he says, but that there's millions of us who think the same thing. And not because he said it. Because again, that's what they're doing all the time, is just letting somebody else, form all of their opinions for them. Lest you doubt us, and you should definitely do this, by the way, anyway, as supporters of the show. Look back at our content long before we ever even knew Vivek existed, all throughout the time of COVID. And actually, even on, he told you right there on January 6th itself, if you would have told him that, there was potentially entrapment and government involvement and all of that kind of stuff, that was crazy out there, conspiracy theory stuff. And now after a couple years of examining it, he's come full circle. Listen to what David and I had to say at the time.
Tomorrow's news today.
Lest you doubt that, there are people, and again, this isn't just David and I, there's millions of people like us who independently came to the conclusion that something was wrong with that situation. The narrative about that situation was a million miles removed from the truth and wasn't even trying to get at the truth. And those masses, those numbers of people, that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that for once, our voice and what we think about things actually has a stage. And not just any stage, a national stage in the run for the highest office in the land. That terrifies them to no end. So, with that, we love you guys. And we're not suicidal.
Well, I guess if you want to do a cheery note at the end of that, you're not alone. If you're watching this podcast, and I would wager to bet if you've stayed all the way an hour and some odd into this, that you do feel the same way, just know that you're not alone. And if you know other people that feel the same way as you and want to share this podcast with them, that'd be fucking great. And why haven't you done it already? Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. We love you guys. But again, you're not alone. This wave is coming and they see it. And that's why they're so hell-bent on controlling the narrative and getting all this legislation and all this stuff passed before we can actually get our grubby little hands on it. And then also, time's on our side. It's not on theirs. Look at Glitch McConnell. He's not long for this world. Feinstein's gone, even though she's mustered the strength to vote the day before she died. More corruption. Nancy Pelosi, how much more time does she got? We got time. But we don't have enough time to make sure that these guys don't motherfuck this country any further than they already have. So with all that, you're not alone. Welcome to the safe space. Excuse me, the sane space.
And how you can help grow the sane space.
Thank you, Dane. Where can they find this illustrious episode 173 of Weapons of Meme Destruction podcast?
And keep it a going concern. If you'll recall from episode 172, which again, audio-only listeners, you got a few weeks ago when we recorded it. Video, you're just now getting it here pretty soon. Is we added a new tier of support. And our humble request to you is this. Can you spare for a couple poor podcasters, not in some foreign land, but
how can you have any pudding if you don't eat some meat?
In your homeland that are just trying to keep this thing a going concern.
Homeland.
For $1 a month, if we can get 1,000 of you.
What is it, $1 a month? How many pennies is that a day?
For $1 a month.
A couple of shekels.
If you can commit, and again, we know. The Fed has fucked us all royally. Times are tough. Money is tight. You have bills that actually keep a roof over your head and food on your table. And, how dare we even ask? But again,
times are tight for us too.
Yeah. Platforms a lot bigger than us and a lot more well funded and capitalized than us are also asking for donations and stuff like that. So I don't feel quite as bad for it. But for $1 a month. You don't have to do a $5 a month tier. And again, just to be straight up with you, that $1 a month doesn't get you anything extra. Other than the warmness in your heart that you're helping keep this podcast going.
Wow.
You're helping
the fact you didn't have a future in sales so that you had to go
I say that because the other tiers do. $5 a month, you get access to the private members only Facebook page. For $10 a month, you get access to that. Plus, you get some discount codes
watch
from merch.
This stuff, and you get to support the podcast a month without doing all that other
You can also do those other tiers.
Jesus Christ, it's all in the phrasing, Dave.
You can also do 5, 10, and 15 a month if you want.
Shit. Give me $1.
But for $1 a month, if we can get a few hundred of you, 1,000 of you, that can really go a long way towards keeping this podcast a going concern. And so in the holiday spirit, we can't thank you enough. But again,
where's that Santa ringing the bell? The Salvation Army Santa.
Even if that doesn't happen, listen, your ears, your eyeballs, your attention, your sharing us with friends and families, your likes, your subscribes, your shares, your comments in the section, your sharing of the links, wherever you see us, all of that thing is algo food to help push us out to the masses. To the extent, David brought up a good point recently, to the extent we're not completely shadow banned on platforms like YouTube, and no matter how many people might want to see our content, it's just not getting pushed out to anybody. But The workaround to that is you hitting copy link and sharing in a text message, sharing in an email, sending it to a friend or family member. That'll make sure that their eyeballs get on it. If they click the like button and their friend clicks the like button, and the sane space grows. But all of that being said, this podcast can be found at wmdpodcast.com/173. That's where you'll get the show notes page. You can also get it on any podcast catcher. Just search Weapons of Meme Destruction. You can get the video on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey. You can link up with us on X, Instagram, TikTok. You can get in the private members only Facebook page at $5 a month or more of support. Just go to the Support Our Work tab to find out all the different tiers over there on how you can support the show. We have a Bitcoin address if you would like to submit or would like to send some Bitcoin to the podcast and help us out that way. Definitely get on the email list at wmdpodcast.com. Text the number 610-596-WMDP. That's 610-596 or 9637 to get on that automated text service to keep you in better contact with the show. Get discounts on merch. Speaking of merch, you can click the merch link in our show notes to buy some merch for us. That helps the show as well. Lots of different ways you can help the show, and we appreciate any one of them that you do. With that being said, the next time you'll hear from us will be just barely on the other side of Christmas Day, because even though we're not that big a fan of Nameless Faceless Guy, we do like Chris, and we don't want to make them work in the lead up or on Christmas Day, so they'll probably get the next episode out a little after. But we will see you then, wishing you a very Merry Christmas, and as we send you off into the new year, hopefully with cheer in your heart and sanity in your brain.
With all that being said, guys, are we sure we can't get it out before then?
We can try.
We'll do our damnedest.
Yeah. Maybe if you hear from us before Christmas or on Christmas Day,
that's your Christmas miracle.
Christmas present to you.
A little Christmas miracle for you guys.
Every time a Weapons of Meme Destruction podcast episode drops, a politician gets thrown in jail somewhere in the world.
Let's make that a thing.
I know.
All right. Anyway, well, with all that being said, guys, as always, stay safe, but more importantly, stay free.